All right, mates, welcome back to the channel. JL Scott Fishing and Eats. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a fabulous holiday weekend into July. 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everyone in the state celebrating the 4th of July. Had a question from a follower on Jay. Where is the cut? Where is the cut? Okay, the cut is something that people in our area, most the DMV obviously, but mostly the Maryland side, refer to as a cut on the island that can get you to the other side without having to paddle all upriver and around or downriver and back up to get to some of the prime fishing locations on this upper Potomac stretch, which is the cut is easily accessible from Swain's Lock, okay, on the Maryland side, on the C&O towpath. It is a canal lock. And this is actually the building that you will find there. You can actually rent that building out. You can stay in that building actually for the weekend. I think it's done daily. That's something you can check out, which is right on the canal walk. Canal. You cross the bridge, then you're on the towpath, and then you go down to the campground. I did a video. You can find it on the YouTube channel. The Swains Lock Daily campground. Hiker biker campground, which is right here in here, and I'm going to change this to satellite so you can really get a good idea. And you're allowed to stay there for 1 day. Technically, you're allowed to stay there 1 day. It's free. You can stay there 1 day. All right, let's open this up. Let's take a look at where we're at here with the cut. Cut's a really great little shortcut. That's why it's called a cut. In the middle of the river on the islands in the middle, it's actually part of Glady's Island, which is directly across from where you will put in at Swains, going through the campground. Stay to your left as you go down, and stay to the left to that campsite on your left. And basically, there's a little cut through too down to the water where you will launch at. And so let's mug up a little bit. Swains Lock is off the Swains Lock Road. You can access it via River Road. So it is west. It is the first canal lock access point west of Potomac Village on River Road. If you're familiar with the area, River Road runs all the way down 495 down towards the locks, all the way down towards the DC area. So this is the first lock that you're going to come to as you're making your way up from Potomac Village, which will be Swains Lock, then Pennyfield Lock, then Violet's Lock, then Riley's Lock at Seneca Landing. That section, okay? So Swains obviously is well above Con Island, well above Great Falls, okay? It's the river bend, above River Bend as the river turns and heads west, okay? Let me expand this a little bit, and you can see what I'm talking about with the parking access here at Swains, because I do get a lot of questions. See, that's a small parking lot, okay? And there's the building that's right here, okay? And you cross that bridge, you're into Swains, okay? You go down the hill, and you're going to be accessing right here, okay? Right there is where you're going to be getting onto the Potomac. And as you come out of here, let's see if I can get that a little bit more, okay? That is your makeshift, okay, right there. You're going to come out of here, and you're going to head across the river, okay? Directly across the river. You get some fishing in as you're going on your way. This is Glady's Island, okay? And here's the cut right there, okay? Let's remove that to get a bigger picture here of the cut. There's your cut, mates. Okay, that's the cut right there. Now, depending on the time, 2 weeks ago, you would have to walk your kayak, canoe, or if you're wade fishing, all the way up the cut because it was very shallow. It has since risen now to where there's a foot and a quarter, it's a little bit, foot and a half at the front, at the opening. So you can probably get up there as close as you can. It's a lot easier to come out of it than it is to go into it, obviously, because of the current flow. And what happens is why this cut is a really cool little shortcut is this is a huge island that runs all the way up right in the middle of the river. So you would have to go all the way up, use that energy, unless you have a motor, but you're going to be paddling. Most people are paddling all the way up, okay, to come around. Look how big this island is, okay? You're going all the way from here, Lock 21, okay, all the way up to around this island, right, to come back down, right? And you're going against the current on your way up, right? So that's why this cut is a really great cut, to where you can go in through here, cut through here, and then come down and fish all in through here, wrap around, and then come up, come back up if you're not doing a float or a shuttle or anything like that, and you would go all the way down. Most of the time, you'll be dragging your kayak through this stretch, through some of these stretches. It depends really on the current rate of the current flow and what the condition of the river is. It's not that bad in this section to be paddling against the river, against the current, but this is the area where, because so many people come down from Pennyfield on the left side. Again, Pennyfield is above Swains. They stay on this left side because of how long this island is, okay? So they stay on that side coming down river, and they fish predominantly that whole stretch. See how long that island is? They fish this whole stretch on this side, the Maryland side, okay? From Pennyfield all the way. Lock 22 is there at the end. When you come in Pennyfield, you want to stay as you come down. As you enter Pennyfield, you want to stay to the right. That's where the boat ramp is. If you go left, you're going to go all the way to Canal Lock 22, okay, which is great if you want to walk the towpath and wade fish, because you can get right on the river, right down in this stretch, absolutely easy peasy, okay. So you want to come down to this end and save yourself about 70 yards, 80 to 100 yards of walking, all right. So like I said, people fish this and float, right? They very rarely get in these cuts, as I covered in the other video, and you want to follow that on one of the floats, okay? But let's get back to Glady's Island, okay? Where that cut is, and why I like that cut, and why I would talk to so many people about the cut. It's really easy, to get across most times. Obviously high water events, you need to make sure you check that out, but it's usually pretty easy to go right across. Low level conditions, you're going to have a lot more rocks to navigate, but you can stay in your kayak or your canoe and do it, or wade fish. So you're going through this cut, and then you get some pools right here, okay? This is the thing that a lot of people overlook about this section, is there are a lot of pools on the back side. Look at this little drop right here, okay? Pools back up in here adjacent to this water that's flowing down, okay? You come out of here, you find these videos, mates, individual videos on my YouTube channel. Some of them are in short form, some of them are in long form on the channel. But you basically can fish all right up in here, which basically does not get fished that often. It can hold. It's one of those sections where you check it one day, seems like there's no fish there. It's Dead Sea. Then you go back, 2 or 3 days later, and you catch 25 smallmouth. Okay, so raw that is depending on what's happening upriver, the current flow and all of that. But if you can just see this section right here, look at what you have. You've got a rock line right here. You can go down these rocks. Okay, it's broken up by what really you wouldn't call an island. It's more like just a rock, area through here. And there's basically the smallmouth can sit down in here, and there's another pool right here. It really all depends. When this thing gets to be about 3 feet of water, 2.5, 3 feet of water, you find them in there a lot more than you don't, okay? Because it's basically less than a foot through here, and they'll come in here during the summertime, a little deeper water. Look at it; they're behind this big rock line right here, which is which is immense, like in terms of just density. Okay, and it's up. When the river's 2 feet or so, this is all exposed. When it gets to be like 3.5 feet, the water's going to be up in here. Okay, so you lose a lot of this rockiness, and it just looks like it's just an island there. But then again, you've got on the back side of this island. See that? Those riffles right there. Again, shallower water for sure. Okay, but then you've got on the downside of the Gladys, okay, you've got this area right in here. okay? And so when we expand this back out a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, you've got these areas right here where they're just sitting here, okay? And then further down here is what I was talking about, the end of Gladys, where it comes to. And a lot of times you're going to be walking your kayak through this section and back around to Lock Island. So a lot of people you'll see will do is they'll be tethering their kayak, they'll fish in here, come across, and then this gets pretty shallow. Okay, this is really shallow. All right, almost always it's almost unnavigable sometimes because of the amount of rocks that are back up in here. But you'll see people that are pulling their kayaks back up along this along Lock Island because it's shallower enough, and they're out of this, or they'll just beach their kayak and start fishing the ripples and all that stuff down to here, and then they'll get back, to Swains. This area almost becomes unnavigable. I mean, sometimes you can't even pull your kayak through because there's so many rocks, or so much fallen timber, and all gets jammed up in there. And you're more inclined, I will tell you this, just for an FYI, you're more inclined in this section back in here to come across, ropes. Okay, there's not a time that I don't see at least one, water moccasin, snake of some sort, because the water is still. There's a lot of bait fish for sure that get trapped up in here. So if you're walking your kayak down through there, or jumping these rocks as a wade, you can check out that video on YouTube as well. And I came across a rather adult size nope rope. Was not happy I was there. And a lot of times they will hang out on those rocks. So if you're rock jumping, wade fishing, going from rock to rock, get out to the main river, always be aware of this section, especially this 50-yard stretch, always seems to have more snakes than the middle of the river does, and other areas of the river, at least for me, that I've noticed. And so that's the cut, okay, on Gladys, all right? I'm not doing a very good job of moving the screen, am I? Right there, okay? So you get in there, you can come in, you can come right around. A lot of times, this is like an elevated pool, okay? What I mean by that is you're going up, maybe you're kayaking up if it's not, or you're pulling all the way up, and then you get a rock line, and the water level is higher than the water level here, okay? And it becomes a pool area in here. So the only way you can get through that is to pull your kayak or canoe, or and get through that area, lift it up over, and to get to the next pool, and then through to be out into this area right here, okay? And then you could actually get in your kayak and just kind of go all the way down around all this stuff, hit the we known as the Virginia side, but it's still technically Maryland. And you could fish all the way down. You can fish all the way down the Maryland side, Virginia side, if you wanted to, if you had a shuttle, and take out at River Bend. Okay, and so that's just options for you on how you can break it up. I really like some of the fishing sometimes around Minnehaha. It really depends on the water level, depends on what's happening at Little River down in Point of Rocks. If it's 3 feet to I don't know, 3.2 to 3.5, the fishing tends to be better down here. They just kind of like wait, get in there behind this island point, staying in here, back in here, ambush some stuff. But that's the cut, mates. So when you hear me refer to that, or you hear that is what we're talking about. It's on Glady's Island, adjacent to Swains. The cut is right there. I'll get it bigger one more time for you. You can see what I'm talking about. It's just the water comes. Now in the fall, this area becomes really good fishing. It's deeper water anyway. You'll find that if you're bringing your kayak in, you're going to drop a foot of water. So if the middle of the river that you're crossing with Swains is like at 1.5 feet, this is going to be 2.5 feet. Okay, it's just a drop in the river composition, because over time the water has flowed down through here and just taken a lot of the sediment and the river composition with it downriver. So it creates, when you're walking in a foot, and then you drop to like 3 feet. You're like, whoa! And you got your gear and everything, and you can be like if you're wade fishing. So I've seen that a lot with guys. But you definitely can put your kayak up in here and then pull it up all the way through here to fish on this side, and it saves you a lot of time and effort, and just on a short round the bend kind of thing. But let me give you a little bird's eye view here of actually how big we're talking about. Swains is here. Okay, look how big that island is. Okay, it goes forever. Okay, it's a couple miles long. Okay, all the way up to Harris Island, Watkins. They got different names all the way up. Okay, so that's why we call that the cut, and that's why we use the cut, mates, is to get kind of back to this little deeper water over here than on this side as well. If you're fishing, it tends to be shallower here. And there's just no way to get over that way. And once you commit to going upriver, even if you're running a motor, if you're running up here, there's some ripple stuff here, you're gonna have to navigate, lift your motor up, and get through all that. But you're not getting over here until you go all the way up. Okay, around Penn. That's why when you plan this out, do I want to launch from Penny? Do I want to launch from Swains? Where do I want to target? Where do I want to shuttle? Do I want to float? If you're by yourself, one car, one truck, you want to make sure that you use those areas so you're not getting overextended and just tear yourself up, tear your boat up, tear yourself up physically, because it's a long. You get on this side of the island, it is a long way down to the end of Gladys. Okay, than you would think, because most people just think, oh, the islands all break up and there's tons of islands and this and that. Yeah, but this is one of the ones where it runs really, really long. So just keep that in mind when you target that area. A lot of people come down and fish. I like to fish this area right in here a lot. It's just really nice. It's scenic. It's great. You can beach your kayak and then just get in the water on a hot summer day and wade fish for a little while. You're right between two islands. You get out. You'll see some things. That's all. You'll see bald eagles. You'll see just bear. You've seen a bear. You'll see foxes. You'll see all kinds of stuff that it's just a really, really, really great. Got to remember these islands are uninhabited. Okay, so there's not a whole bunch of trails and man walking through all this woods and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff up in there that you'll see coming to the shoreline. And some will ignore you, and others will let you know they're there and that you need to go away. Sure you've seen that before. You will get attacked, not attacked in the sense that you'll be, affronted like by beavers and like stuff to let you know, like, get out of here. So anyway, that is the cut. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like for me to cover anything else in this section right here pertaining to the Upper Potomac. We call the Piedmont section. Just hit me up with a message on Facebook, JL Scott Fishing and Eats, and I will be sure to cover it. But this is again the cut or Glady's cut, okay, that you will hear people refer to, which is a shortcut to the Virginia side. If you would like to go on that float or just fish around Glady's Island on the opposite side of Glady's Island as the river begins to turn and continue its run down to Great Falls. And so you know how it is with bends in the river. We tend to get some fish in those areas. This is actually also, just so you know, FYI, that the backside of this island in between these riffles and all here is also a very good smallmouth spawning area. So just keep that in mind for next year as you explore these areas and dot those and put those on your map as you begin to pick apart this area. It's a really, really fun area, really easy area to kayak. There's really, there's not, the rapid concerns that you get further down river, obviously towards Great Falls, Con Island, and parts beyond, and the dam that's down there and all that stuff that you want to be in this section. It's relatively riffles, shallow water, depending on what we're seeing in the river. All right, mates. Appreciate it. Please like and follow the channel. I'll see you next time.